being here today, this Thursday, our second edition of Listening with the Stars.
Well, there's our
Um,
first. It was our first edition.
there was a first edition,
And what was who was the first one?
Ronnie Staring.
Okay.
Yeah, 100 deals a year, 40 some odd $1 million in sales. And all of this, of course, is sponsored by our family of services. Um, right here, the man, the legend, Raul, our president. Um, thank you for sponsoring us.
Yeah.
Because the bagels and the coffee and the yogurt and all that sits good in our bellies as we listen.
Well, it's our pleasure, and it's my pleasure to represent FOS, partners with Capital Partners and Ties Insurance as well. I'm with Title, and Janelle here is also next door. We're right next door, and we're happy to sponsor things like this for you guys. We want to be a resource for you, not just in what we could offer you directly, but what we could offer you through individuals like these, who we're very happy to work with, many of these deals. Um, Rose and Shanna treat you well next door.
Yes.
So, we're happy to work with him and have him come and give you some insights on what makes him successful. So we pride ourselves in being able to do that, and thank you so much for your support. We're here for anything that you need. Anytime, just give us a call. Anything that we can help you. Happy to help.
And the big winner is we got seller docs now. Don't forget the seller docs. All right. All right. We're doing seller docs. Um, make sure your side, if you're the listing agent, has a representative uh, attorney through seller's docs through the system. It's something new after these years. We're glad to bring to you. Thank you for finally getting it done. Uh, Dee's been on the journey that we went other places, and now we can come to you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you guys.
D.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. It's been it. Your kid was just born. He was a newborn,
Yeah.
right? When you came to Kai's, I hired you in that mythical town, Hollywood,
Yeah.
Hollywood Stars,
Yeah.
and um, here we are. Um, what was it, like 11, 12 years ago?
That was 13 years ago.
Man. So now he's in middle school.
He's going to go. Yeah, he's in middle school, going into high school.
Okay, so it's been a child's lifetime so far.
Yeah.
You've been with Kai's all this time. You've learned our things. You've made it. I mean, so let's go back 13 years ago. What year was it? This
2012.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so we're just coming out
Yeah.
of the Great Recession.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
It was a lot of short sales. A lot of short sales. Did a lot of those. That's when back then, multifamily, a unit was about 75 a door. Came a long way, right? Price. Um, a lot of some REOs. So it was a market that was a lot of opportunities out there.
well, we appreciate you, and I know the hard work you put in, and as family, being able to, share
Yep.
with us. Sometimes we get in a position and we stifle ourselves because we don't know the next move.
Yep.
And between us,
Yep.
individually and together, we've been able to make all the positive moves
Yep.
to get here in front of us. Thank you. Take it away. If you have
Thank
any
you.
notes,
I appreciate it. So I didn't come script. I pretty much put some bullet points so I can stay on topic. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. I appreciate. I'm not a star. I just want to make it clear. I don't like that label, but I just feel like I wanted to come here and inspire in the sense of like motivate you guys where I came from, my background, my journey, in a sense of some challenges that I see in the market and how to approach those challenges. So I'll start by saying the journey when it started, like I said, Ron Yanks, he hired me in 2000. Well, I came with the company in 2012, and I had a cubicle right in front of his office, and it was interesting because it's like at that time there was a lot of what.
that's where I put all the promising news. Right in front of my office.
Yeah, yeah. So So coming in this business, I didn't have, no, I had sphere. You know, we all have sphere. We all have a center of influence, but I didn't have much. Uh, Back in the days when I was much fitter, like Mikey over here, I was fit. I was a personal trainer and all that. But then I decided to go into this business, and it was a lot of pressure because my son was like 3 months old. And, of course, when it's pretty much backs against the wall, you pretty much have to do what you got to do to survive. So I came with a lot of confidence, but also drive. And I think the most important thing I want to touch on is mindset, understanding your mindset on a daily basis, understanding the seller's mindset on a daily basis. That's important. It's important for you to identify and engage with people organically, okay? And I think that's the key. But let me stay on topic here. Sometimes I'm all over the place. So you got to be fearless. You got to be relentless. You got to be relentless and fearless. Just to give you an example, I had a seller back in 2012 named Demutu. He was from Romania. Demutu. What a son of a gun. What a son of a gun. It was like the second listing out in Hollandale, and he was a for sale by owner. So just how it started in Hollywood, kept calling, just kept calling, kept calling. And I would get in person thinking that I'm going to get the listing. So there was times where I felt like I was ready. Let's go, come. And he would shift different angles, different objections all the time, different objections. It was something, it was something, it was something. So I went back to Ron. I said, man, something that I'm not doing is right, man. This guy is just not, it's very difficult. And he says, you got to overcome the objection and go to the close. Don't stop. But that taught me a lot because let me tell you, it took about 20 visits.
20.
Yeah,
Wait, wait.
yeah,
At least he
yeah,
was a seller. He was
yeah,
going to the same spot
yeah,
as compared to 20
yeah.
showings all around town.
So, so the last, I remember the time that I came with the listing agreement. He had a different listing agreement then. He would take a black marker and scratch every little thing on the. I'm like, what do I do here? At the same time, I didn't know I had the flexibility to say, hey, whatever. So I went back to Ron. I said, man, this guy's scratching 80% of the contract. He says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Close. And I was like, okay. So in his mindset, he's basically says, do whatever it takes to get the deal done. So end up getting it on the contract, or actually getting it listed. And the journey was tough during the transaction. So just imagine how it was getting the listing, but actually during the process. But it closed, and one of the most, this the highlight is that it was the thing that really resonates in my mind is that after the transaction, he was very guarded guy. He was very short, guarded personality, was stern. He was not like warming, inviting. He took his hand, put it over me, and took a picture. And I'm like, it was strange, but it kind of let me understand. Listen, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon, and it's like it's just that was confidence that I got in the early age or early stages of my career. So you got to be very fearless. You got to have this mindset of it's not you, it's them, and you got to be not don't be afraid of rejection. And that's another thing. Put your ego down. No one really cares on your feelings. You're in the business to build trust. So put your ego aside. No matter how many times you get rejected, that's closer to a yes. And I think that's where you want to, like, just imagine you have a line. You're in the tracks. You got lane one, lane two, lane three, lane four. You got everybody that's trying to chase that one goal. You got that seller right there. So you got to ask yourself, who is going to take the extra step to getting that? And I think a lot of the times, once we go through the process of rejection, We say, I don't want to waste time. My time is valuable. I get it. Your time is valuable, but it doesn't take that much to pick up the phone. And if it's at least a 2 minute conversation, that's all you got to do. 2 minute conversation, touching with the person, tapping into their personal life, be personable, understand, and this is where I'm going to go through the whole thing, but understand them more about their goals, them as people, build that relationship. I think we're good at that in this company. I think if you want to say our foundation, we're family service, we're very family oriented, and we have a good, warm personality. We're able to kind of interact with people on a different level and things like that. But the main thing here is, okay, no ego. Put the ego to a side. Like, and you know, when you're speaking with someone on the phone, don't make it about yourself. They don't give a shit. They don't care about how much you sold. They don't even care about the house that you sold next door. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to them. Now, if that's something that they inquire about, you say, listen, I'm glad you brought that up. I'll be happy to share that information with you when we meet. But I want to talk about you first. You see what I just did? I just humbly just take that and saying, listen, I know you're curious, but it's not about that now. I need to get into the motivation. So that is very important, right? But I don't think that's something that you should be talking about. Don't think that you gotta show your clout, your ego, what you've done just to get to the door, because they don't give a crap. In fact, they probably had an agent who was as successful as you and didn't deliver, didn't close, didn't get the job done, so it doesn't matter. So, okay, personable approach. You gotta connect with them organically. And what I mean by like I'm not a Mike Ferry. Well, I started Mark Ferry. I did. But I changed my way of thinking. Like Mike Ferry, if you is a great trainer, by the way. I am not Mike Ferry. Want to put it like that? I'm not talking as if Mike Ferry is very pushy, very aggressive. And I think sometimes the script is very uh, redundant to the point everyone sounds the same, right? So stop focusing on the script when you're having conversations with people. Touch into certain things that, the acronyms of Ninja, Ford. Try to touch into those things to get deeper to the issue. And always when someone's trying to sell, there's some ties with why they're selling. It's Ford, with family, occupation, recreation, dreams, desires, whatever the case is. So understanding the mindset of a seller when you speak with them, at the time they're frustrated, they're misled, they're defensive, they're exhausted. So you got to be able to like put your ego, think about them. You got to create that empathy. You got to understand them as people first before you even get to the sales pitch. So your role again is to tap into the motivation, and there's levels of stages. I kind of look at it. I think from my experience, when you first get on the phone with a seller, they're denying. They're going to say everything. No, no. They're angered. They're either anger or denial. They're not going to show their cards to you. Who are you? They don't know you. So why do you think, it goes? If you get the listing appointment that call, then there you go, right? But you got to build that level of comfort. You got to be able to build the trust. And I think that it goes with follow up and being able to have a step by step approach. And of course, I guess as you get closer and as you go along the follow up game, depending on everything, there's a sense of reflection. They've already had a number of calls in the very beginning. They're and when they either listed as expired. I'm talking about expired now. Of course, for sale by owners, kind of could be the same thing, but in the middle stage, they are reflecting at this point because they're like, okay, this didn't work for me, and I was planning to be in California, but didn't work out, and maybe time is maybe time is on my side. Maybe I need to be there sooner because In the beginning, they're just frustrated, they're denial, they're anger. They don't want to even think about selling. They want to just stop. But in the middle, they're probably reflecting. You got to be in touch with these people to realize that if you're not having these meaningful conversations with these people and talking with them, how would you know to assess where they are then and now into getting the close, right? So this is where I talk about the scenario of being starting from the start line, making sure you get to the finish line. But in order way to get in the finish line, you got to connect with the seller. Very important. You got to connect with the seller. Uh, so, okay, so the final stage there. So, yeah,
Let's just let me just ask you
yeah,
a couple questions
yeah,
on connection.
yes.
Is it 3 weeks, 10 phone calls? Is it 6 months? What are you finding is warm? Like, how do you
Assess.
judge?
Okay.
Yeah, how are you assessing the change and based on what they're saying, how do you how do you get that appointment then? Like, how does that come up? Just finish that off on the touching base, and do you call them once a week or once every 10 days or twice a day? Like help me understand the
Okay.
connection to get that out.
Okay, so I'll go with the connection questions in this shortly. But as far as the time, the frequency, from the cold, from when someone's cold, meaning that I kind of distinguish or I actually factor a cold. Okay, cold is someone who is they're not motivated in timeline and motivation.
Okay,
Okay, so
so that's cool.
cold,
No timeline, no motivation.
no motivation, don't want to sell, tired. I don't know what they're just they're in that anger denial stage.
Correct.
So now identify. I say, okay, you're cold. So now warm. So cold. I touch them once a week, minimum once a week, whether it's text, whether it's calls, whether it's email, even door knocking. Okay, I actually have something on my phone where if you're an iPhone user, you could put lists. I don't know if you guys noticed that George Conley taught me this, and I was like, whoa, this guy is old. Hey, a old school teaching me tech, bro. I was like, what? You can kind of on your phone, you can kind of categorize. You can list you could create a list, right? You could put cold, hot, whatever you wanted to put it, right? But you can connect it or designate it to a contact. So if you want to touch colds, you just cold, you go to your list, cold, and it just pull all the colds. So if you want to cold call or you want to call these people at this day, you're calling all your codes at this time, you're calling all your warms at this time. So sometimes you're not in front of a computer, but you could prospect anywhere you are. I believe it or not, your phone is this is don't think you got to sit in front of a computer prospect. You can actually prospect when you're on the way to the appointment. From one appointment to the other appointment, you can get on the phone with three, four, five people and call
But D, I don't have their property. I forget their property. I'm not sure.
them. So it's easy. There's notes on your phone. There's notes on your phone. So you got this right. You go. So you got this. When you go to the list, you go to list. You got all your contacts, expired listings, for sale by owners. Okay, prospects, sellers. Prospect sellers, you go ahead and you can categorize it cold, warm, hot. You could put your notes.
It's on over there. We'll do the technical
Yeah,
half.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, anyways, George, if you want to know more about that, George, the guy, he taught me. So it's not that's helped me too because I don't have to be in front of the Vulcan and looking at my data. So then you touch once a week if it's cold. Okay.
Once a week if it's cold.
If it's warm,
Flow, guys.
if it's a warm, meaning that you assess that their motivation, their openness, they open to change, they're hearing you out, you feel that there's a different level of mindset, then of course 2 to 3 times a week, and that is for warm and hot because in a switch of a night or just within time they can become hot. The way I see it is that conversations are being made during night, husband and wife, thoughts. These people are thinking overnight. So if you're not in front of their face and speaking with them, essentially you're going to miss the opportunity. So you got to be able to. So what are the questions to discover um, where they are psychologically and in their emotional state. What couple questions can you ask? One of it is, what was the most frustrating part of your last experience? So just to see if there was any, just to kind of see what, if there was anything that happened in the past that they were frustrated at that you should be aware of, right? Another thing is, did you feel your home got the attention it deserved? Okay, to see again if they are, with the disappointment, to see where they are then. But as far as motivation, if your home had sold, where would you be today? If your home hasn't sold, if your home has sold, where would you be today? That is the main one because that gives you an idea. Now what you're doing is kind of linguistic program. It's like, you're repeating that question in a way of saying, if your home were to sell, where would you be today? So now they're thinking today, and where would they be? So now you program in their mind where they be. So it's a question itself. They may not answer it, but at least you could under and assess it. Because sometimes as you go along the script, once you go along the frequency of communication with them, you're going to see where they are. Uh, what made you? What you? And another one is, what made you decide to sell it in the first place? These people expired a couple of days ago, so they were still in the market. What made you decide to sell in the first place? That's another way of saying. And then you say, this is Ron's pitch. If anything had gone right, when were you hoping to move? That's a timeline. You can assess that because then you're you're assessing the time on where they need to be. And another one, if a buyer paid your price today, is there anything stopping you from selling? That's a good one. Yeah. So that's the motivation and trust. What do you need to happen for you to feel comfortable at this time? So then you could get deep to the root. Is it the listing time? Is it the time frame? Is it commission? Is it price? Is it what is it? It's not that you're trying to overcome the objection. You're just trying to find out where they are. So when you can get the appointment, you can know how to handle the objection. Don't handle so much objections on the phone. You handle it in person.
So what you're saying is when they say something, all you do is bank it.
Thank you.
Bank it.
Move on to the next question.
That's it. Don't overcome commission, price, terms, their thing, time frame.
Yeah.
Any this all we're doing is understanding where they are.
Yeah, and
So
then
that when you get there, you know what you got to cover to make them because everybody's individual, everybody's an individual. You got to meet those individuals.
so another one you could do is as far as your trust is what are you looking for in your next listing agent? You know, that's another way to kind of see where they where their mindset is to see, to see where they are and see if they're even thinking about it. And another one you could do is reflection. What do you think could have made a difference? You know, you know, just get them to open up. The goal here is these questions are not really as a question. These are these are questions to allow you to assess motivation and timeline, but it's also for you to assess their mindset to seeing where do you go from here. How do you kind of you put them in the cold bucket, the warm bucket, the hot? Because the fun thing about this game is that the moment that you speak with one person from 1 week to the second week to the third week, you're you're somewhat changing the way you say it and you're trying to repeat these questions again, trust me, some one of the times it's different because now their guard is down. They feel comfortable speaking with you. Hey, it's me again. I told you that we had the expectations I was going to call you tomorrow, next week, Monday. Just following up. How was your week? Talk. Stop talking about the real estate. Stop trying to sell it. Stop trying to get into the listing appointment. Just be organic. Build relationships. I have people. I promise you that I stay in touch with monthly for the last 10 years and they sent me business and I ended up listing their home. The Sunbergs was one of them. 10 years speaking with them and they decided now they want to move. So I set up my way of things. Everyone has a different way of building their business. I kind of like I like to go get mines, even though we all love referrals. I like to go get it because I have a passion of meeting people and building relationships. So I really don't really look at the I look at the pipeline as weekly, monthly, year, whatever it is. I'm building relationships. Another way you can do things as well that I do is remove the house instead of coming. Let's meet at a Starbucks. Listen, the last thing I want to do is list your home and see your home. I want to meet you. The last thing I do because hey, listen, I don't know if I'm the right fit. I don't know if we're the right fit. I don't even know anything about the house. I want to understand you. I really want to. She's like, so that's a way to show that you are trying to understand them and build a level of trust. That it helps a lot. Sometimes it all depends on who you're dealing with, right? Um, Now, follow-ups. We already talked about following up once a week, um, at least bare minimum. Don't quit. Um, the objective is to get the appointment, but the goal is to build your pipelines for future business. And I think I am not perfect at this because, you know, I I try to set discipline in my life where I say, okay, well, what has worked for me in the past, it seems that every time I stop doing it, it's just like it's like I feel there's something missing. When I am prospecting, I'm putting 2 hours a day in it. I feel that I'm building my pipeline for 6 months to a year, right? I'm not saying that I'm not I'm not saying I'm just staying in touch with my database. That's it. You're staying in touch with your database, opposed to trying to look for the quick sale. Obviously, we need to, it's all about right now. Let's make money, but at the same time, we want to organically build relationships. I have people the day we were just speaking, and I was like, hey, and we were just talking about random stuff, talking about football. And he's like, I said, so I assume I could come over, we could sit down and watch the game because he's a football. He's like, yeah, whenever you're ready. So it's like you're building these relationships, but try not to like be really genuine with it. Like people read that. If you're all about the listing, I get it. We're trying to make money, but this is a people's business, and like people could read that and see that. So the most important thing is to set yourself apart, is making sure when you start, you close, you go to the finish line. Now, obviously, you don't want to just build relationships. If you assess something that makes sense, if what they're saying is that's kind of like you feel that all right, this person who wants to sell, what they're telling me is not consistent. You close, you're trying to get the appointment. You don't just sit here just build relationships. You're trying to make money, but at the same time, reason why I bring this up is how many people we could have, if you kept on a database and you said, okay, instead of putting you in the trash because you say no the first time, the second time, I'm going to continue building that relationship with you because until that, oh, there's another thing that just happened to me recently. Um, I called and expired. They expired. We were talking once a week for his wife, mother passed away, and he's asked for my information, more information. I sent him stuff on the mail. We stayed in touch. I sent a condolence card, and it was genuine though. It was genuine because listen, it was genuine. Sending a card doesn't cost much, $4. My condolences to you and your family. He texted me back. He got it. Nice, right? Um, Stay in touch, and and he happened to list with someone else, which is okay. It's fine. Um, so obviously, if you list with someone else, there's the ethics. You don't want to kind of, whatever. So I sent a thank you card, and I sent a thank you card. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the relationship. Thank you for the conversations. We'll be in touch. Like again, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So if that other agent is not successful, and it's happened before, and I end up getting the listing. Sometimes I've walked away from a listing appointment, not walked away, but I was honest with price. And then that's another thing, price handle, objection handling on price. He went with the agent that was higher in price, obviously. And I did the same approach. Thank you, send the card, we'll be in touch. So he realized the number that I did propose is the number where it should have been listed at. Well, and whatever. And the case is that listing expired. I took the listing, I sold it in a week. He was happy, got my own buyer, double bubble. It was that easy. But I'm not saying that I'm the Superman here. No, what I'm saying is that the purpose I'm sharing that is that you don't give up, guys. It's really contacts. It's and I think in this business, it's like we're independent contractors. Uh, we are trying to make money for our livelihood. We have to, right? But we have to also understand we're in this. If you're in this business long term, you got to think about, okay, if these people may not want to sell now, but they will sell in the near future or in a year or two. And when that comes, if I'm out of sight, out of mind, if I give up on that contact, what is really, and this is what kind of I had to had that talk with myself. It doesn't take that much time. It could be a text or call. And obviously, I wish I could be honest. I wish I could touch everybody in my database once a month, including past clients, but I try to touch base more, honestly, on my approach. I touch base with more on my pipeline than more of my past clients, which actually should be the opposite. I should be doing more calling my past clients, but then that's something I'm going to work on. But I feel that I'm so engaged with people and trying to understand and try to. It's like a challenge. I feel like it's something that you want to do. You got to want to do it. You got to buy into the process. You can't be sitting here thinking that it's going to be easy. This is a numbers game, and this is all about this tenacity, follow up, confidence. And that's another thing too. You're building trust, but you're seeing people are genuinely seeing how confident you are. And then but at the same time, they feel comfortable with you. And I think everything is based on trust. This is a person with the most expensive asset they have. I mean, real estate ties in, that's their wealth there. So why do you think what's the expectations? I mean, if you get the first call, that's great, but you gotta work your way. It's just like when you date a girl. Like my wife, shoot, it took several attempts. So it was not as easy, right? It's the same way I look at it. So the more I welcome the challenge, the more challenges that come my way, I seem not to shy away from it because it's kind of like that's who I am, right? So
So
that's it.
it's interesting that you're able to etch and sketch, clean the chart, clean the attitude.
Yeah.
It's not me clean it and send that. Thank you for the opportunity. It was a great compliment, right? One somebody at Kai's company said it's best to be the first child, second wife, third realtor. Okay?
Yeah.
And then in today's market, you know, like you just said, they went another direction. He
Yeah.
kept in contact.
Yeah.
It expired, and they came back because he gave them reality and he got it sold. Um, so when you made the contact, you're going to go visit, get the appointment. Like, is there something that you're presenting? Um, are you using any tools specifically when you get there? What's your
So what?
like? How do you go through it when you're at the doorbell? When you're at the door.
So when I'm at the door, um, I just check and assess the vibes. Like okay, the body language is very important to assess. Um, what I mean by that is when someone invites you, they open the door, they're like, "Hi, nice to meet you." That approach is like, okay, well, you're welcoming, you're like whatever. And there's another one like There's an open the door. They're like, hi,
Oh,
hi.
hi, hi.
That's
Yeah.
more like that's more like okay, like maybe I'm shy. And there's more like, how you doing? All right, let's get to here.
You chase.
So they're going. That means that they're a driver. That means that they're a driver. If they're like, okay, let's go here. Here's the kitchen. Here's the bathroom. All right. And don't even say, hey, listen. Like they don't even say, let's sit down. They're just like right here. So you got to take control of it. So what I do is, so if let's say scenario, this is all like rehearsing, but say if you let's
No,
role
it's
play.
a,
Okay. All right. So you are
I'm the
seller. You're the
I'm the
seller.
seller.
Okay. So I open the door.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
How are you?
Hey, good to meet you.
Thanks for having me. I stay there. I don't do nothing.
Well,
You know what I'm doing though, right? What am I doing? I'm mirroring his body language.
well, come on in.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Um,
Chef.
where do you want to start? What do you want to do?
Oh well, listen. Look, if it's okay, I could leave my stuff here.
Okay.
Okay.
Go
What would
ahead.
you like to show me? What is the reason? Share with me. What was the reason why you bought this house in the first place?
My kids were young. My kids were young, and I wanted a house with the 4 bedrooms.
Oh, okay. So, oh, 4 bedroom. Man, all right. It's a big home. It's nice. So, where would you like to direct me? What would you like to show me first?
Why don't we start on this side of the house? I'll show you the bedrooms, and we'll walk out
Okay.
the other way.
So, what did I do there? I started a question about why. What was it about this house that drew him? So now he opened up, and the reason they sometimes if they say, well, why are you asking me that? Well, listen, if you were to choose me as your listing agent, I have to find maybe that same buyer that's looking at the same thing you're looking at. So for marketability purposes, it's a good question.
Good
So,
question.
but at the same time, you're getting to start up a conversation, right? So you go there. So there's a different way. So what was his based on his approach? What do you think it was like? More guarded? Was he like inviting? Was he a driver? Was he expressive? Was he? Well, what do you think it was? Driver.
Okay.
He was driver. He was driver. And you got to mirror it. So once you have that here. They say, listen, look, I know your time is very important and I want to get straight to the chase. But before doing so, what would you like to first cover?
Okay. I I'm interested in selling my home, and I'd really like to be Christmas time somewhere else. I didn't sell it last time. What do I got to do? What can you do to get me my price down?
Oh, okay, okay. So let me make it clear. Let me understand here. You are looking for how do I, or you want to know how do I sell homes for the highest possible price within the shortest period of time, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're more interested in the marketing piece before we get into price, correct?
You know what? Let's get to price.
Okay. So the reason why you do that is because sometimes I feel, do you know how they say that, you stay in a listing appointment with a certain period of time, like 15, 20 minutes? That's a rule too. It's like the shorter the window is, the likelihood you get the listing. Like if yeah, seriously, no. The shorter the time, I find out myself that the longer that I'm at an appointment, but it all depends on who am I dealing with though. If I'm dealing with someone who's expressive, someone that talks their ass off, and to the point where I'm just gonna be like, hey, I don't have to. You gotta let the more they talk, the more. I remember one time, my wife was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going on a listing appointment." She's like, "You gotta be effing kidding me." I was like, "Yep, it's 7 o'clock at a Saturday night." The guy invited me over to Southwest Ranches, and I was just like, she's like, "Isn't that an odd time?" I said, "Nope." He wants me to meet then, and let's go sit down. So we're sitting down, and he got poured me some scotch, and I said, "No, I'm not gonna fall to that trick." But I was like, "Okay." Let me just engage with them. So the more that I guess he was very inviting to get me the scotch, but he was very expressive. He talked a lot. So we're sitting, and at the time he's sitting, he has the bottle there, and then he's like sipping away, and I'm like this. Every 20 minutes, I'm like this, and I put it down. But I'm taking, I'm not really drinking, but I'm just making him feel like it, whatever. But the case is that what I'm getting to is that he was expressive, and so I don't want to say too much to the point that the longer you stay, that means that you're not going to get the listing. It's just what I'm saying is don't do so much talking. Don't oversell. Let them talk. The more they talk, the easier the sell is. If you're doing more talking, so you want to be as concise, simplicity, concise, structured. Okay, get straight to the point. You got to say, okay, what matters to you to the most? What matters? Okay, so let's talk about the way I see it is that let's talk about your next listing agent. What do you look for in your next listing agent? You know what I mean? And I talk about that. And then they say, so you're looking for someone, then I just want to confirm, you're looking for someone who's going to follow up with you every week, who's going to do the photos, do the aerials, do all that, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is that so if so is that something you want me to show you now?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to show you right now. It's not going to take that much. It's going to take a few minutes, but this is what I do. Da 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 da. Show the Kais, the marketing, all we do, 900 websites, whatever the case is. Now that I covered the marketing, before we move into price, is there any other questions you have with marketing?
No, that's great. You handled it. Yeah, I understand.
Because
Nice.
what you're doing is now is you're getting confirmation from them. You're not assuming they don't have any. So, because I think what happens with us is that we go from one transition to the other, we missed something or we didn't confirm that we covered the bases. So we're trying to close, we're trying to find out like what it really is, and we're trying to tackle that. It's too late.
Right. You're getting your short
Yes.
yeses
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
every step of the way.
Yeah.
He's confirming. They say yes. They say yes, and then you're running out of things other
Yeah.
than the pen.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
I've confirmed to you.
you confirm, and then now we talked
And
about.
then we listen. I'm comfortable with what you said. How much?
Okay, great. Would you like to know how did I come up with the price, or
Okay.
did you have a price in your mind already?
850,000.
Okay, I could
That's
appreciate.
what it was listed for and didn't sell.
Okay, I could appreciate your thought into that price. Okay, do you want to know how the market dictates or kind of evaluates on what the price should be at, or is that something that how do you come? What is your how do I say it? What methods are you using to determine price?
Oh, um, well, okay, I could say Zillow. Okay, let's just pretend I said Zillow. Let's pretend my neighbor listed his for that, and okay,
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that. But now let me show you how did I come up with the price. Would you like to hear that now?
okay,
Okay, so you get to it, you get straight to the point, you share the comparables. What I do. So we're talking about listing appointment. Not to put yourself in the situation, I never give a price. I give a range. The reason why I've had people like Alex Bruno that
we're gonna scratch that.
but no. But this is a guy. The reason why I'm mentioning it because he's a guy that was a competitor in the area that I was when I was in Hollywood, and he would actually take the price. He would go first, I would go last, and he would come up with a higher price, and the seller would end up this. Yeah. So I feel that now I really and when they want to know price, I said, listen, I get it, I do appreciate it, but first, do you feel comfortable with me?
Yeah, I think you can get it done. Yeah.
Okay, so you think I could get it done? Do you know I can get it done? Which one is it? Think or no?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay, so what I know is that with my marketing, with my tenacity, with my one-on-one, making sure I can get you. this price. Well, before getting into price, okay, here's the range.
Okay.
Here's the range from 550 to 600,000.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is where the range and this is the likelihood of what your property would sell for in this market. Because
Okay.
everything's going to be based on the active inventory. Everything's going to be based on marketing, approach. A lot of factors fall into it. Now, based on this range, is that where you had a bind as far as your price, or is this something that was
No,
off?
that's the range.
Okay, great. And do you feel like I'm the best candidate to sell your home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, sign. Okay, so
He was doing the little. Did you see? There's a little nod there.
okay, great. So let's get started before we get into the exact price, because I got a proven price strategy. I do a price worksheet to help you find a right price that can get you sold. But before doing so, since we're a right fit, I just need you to sign right here. We go into the right worksheet. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So hey, right?
yeah,
We don't have a price picked out.
yeah.
I like. I like that.
Yeah,
Mine is. I think I could sell your home. I mean, you do think I could sell your home, right?
yeah,
And they say yeah,
yeah,
and then okay,
yeah.
okay, very well done.
But no, no.
I mean, that
Yeah,
I mean, you know, yeah,
yeah,
it's done. You know, we just work on the price together based on closed sales and the actors and everything else.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh man. No, 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 no. I learned something from this guy. And one of the things that I do is he has this thing where he gets the lifts it up. Give me a pen, man. I should have a pen right here. Let me show you what this guy does, man. And then I was like, so here, so right there, so uh, so right here, so I need to start right there. Right there. So you don't give him eye contact, you don't talk. Of course. I've had one time, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I had one time. I had a lady like this. I thought she. I was like, damn, I feel nervous. I was saying and she was like, but what you're doing is you're being in control now, and don't talk. Just be like right here, start right here. There you go. And then and at that point it's there. But what I'm basically saying is, guys, is that from the moment that we are and then if they don't sign, say if they don't sign, say if they like, it's like, and if they don't sign, give me the pen, bro. All right, so right here. Sign
Well, he.
But if they say, well, they say, oh, well, I don't know, I got, well, I'm confused here. I'm sorry, but I'm confused. Is it your goal to sell and move to California?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And you want to be in California in the next 90 days? Okay. And you know the average days on the market in this marketplace, right?
What are they again?
Okay, they're roughly around 63, 64. But in the end of the day, in order to get you there in your time frame, we got to get started now to get you the best price and the best terms. Is that something you appreciate and want?
That's one.
Okay, so I'm just confused here. I just want to kind of make sure. Do you feel I can sell your home for the highest possible price for the shortest period of time? We can. And I want to work with you as a team. We're a team.
Absolutely.
We're a team, right?
We're gonna
Okay,
have to.
we're gonna. So if we're a team, let's start the partnership right here. Just sign right here. But I mean, it's not script. I don't have a script, guys. I just deal with it. This is all, or go with the flow. No, I'm just this is my brother. Now, I don't touch no one. I don't. No harassment. No, no, no. But no. But there was one time a lady. Oh my God. There was a lady one time,
Be careful, we're recording
and
this.
she had some wine with her husband, and she kept touching my hand. Ah, I was like, oh boy. I was like, okay, well, let me just try to look at the husband and talk with the husband. But nah, it's fun. It's fun. It's all psychological. It's all about uh,
Let me ask you this:
being confident.
what's your favorite part
Of,
of getting up in the morning and going to work?
I think we all the same reason why, like Mikey and all, like we all have different. But the main thing for me is I like this business because it's connecting puzzles.
Okay, connecting the blocks,
You're connecting the blocks,
playing Tetris.
and it's a chess game. It's chess. It's about timing, whether you're dealing with a, a seller trying to get the listing, or whether you're negotiating with the opposing side, chess, or whether you're trying to create some type of deal structure, you're in the contract. So what makes me or why I'm passionate about it is just allows me to bring my skill set and to be the best I could be, the best version I could be for myself as a professional, but also help people by being optimistic. I think in this market, especially now, you got to have the mindset of like being flexible. Stop. Your old ways is gone. You got to be flexible. What used to happen back then, now you go into contract, terms are changing left to right. You're like, what is this? What is this? What is this? You was cash, now you're trying to flip it to financing. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do. You got to be able to take it with a grain of salt and be like, okay, I know I want to defend the sale. I know I want to do my best, but let me speak with the client, give the options to the client, and then at that point, just say, hey, if they ask for how I feel because that's what it is. But what I'm getting to is it's like I like to just create the puzzles. Um, I'm not so much in the game for now. I'm in the game for the future.
Amen.
Yeah.
If there was something that you could tell young B,
Ah, shit, man.
you know,
Sorry.
that young B, what what would you go back and do differently, or the one thing you'd start sooner, or something like that, if you had the chance to go back 10 years
All
and
right.
start
So, so what I would do, man, I when I first started, I was more, well, still now, I'm a people's farm. I'm like, anywhere you need me to be, I'll sell it. From Cool Springs to Weston to Pines, I've sold everywhere. So I didn't really focus on a farm. So I would have focused more on the farm than just focusing on being dragged off everywhere, right? So I would be more concentrated, more aggressive when my marketing in a particular farm, and I think that's what we get as going in as agents. You got to focus on the farm. So I would have done it. It's not too late. I'm gonna
no,
do it, but it's not too late. But I feel like that is very important because when I was in the game at that time, there was short sales. Again, there was a lot. It was just like a grind, just like this market. It's just a grind. It was just you trying to chase this, you trying to chase that. So wherever you need to be, you're taking it. So you needed to look at what can I do to get paid like the next 30 days. So this is the way it is now, but I would have done that.
you know, I just want to say that based on that farm that you don't remember,
Right. Yeah.
I remember just recently a guy called you that you weren't necessarily in flow, but you had been in the flow for 10 years
Uh-huh.
in Hollywood Lakes,
Yeah.
and he called you and you sold $1 million home and you earned your fee. He was happy. He remembered you. He had all your cards and everything that you
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
sent.
Ah.
And
Ah.
and you know, sometimes our focus
Yeah.
moves, and all of a sudden our focus is over here.
Yep.
Don't forget and he said it. You got a phone number that works. They answered the phone.
Right.
If not now, next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. If you stay somewhat in flow, you got a chance. Any
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah. I think that's the main thing. No, I should do Ninja. Yes, I am. Yes.
Oh,
All
one
right. So I
second.
think
Do you use a net sheet at your listing?
yes, I do a net sheet. Uh, so I do a net sheet, but I only get to the net sheet when so the, it all depends on the strategy, but I use net sheets. I got a spreadsheet. I wish I could show it to you. I do the comparables, and I always put net sheets on the bottom. But far as the range, I give them a range, and I put the net sheet, and I don't really get into the exact net sheet if they ask until we get to the price I got them to sign. Because I think it's like if I'm going to show them a range, why am I going to show them a number? So I'm getting with so to your question, just follow me for a second. I'm giving them a range,
Okay,
and I'm
550 to 600.
600, and then I'm giving them to the net sheet on both ranges, so that way they can see the difference. And one of the techniques I use, and I've actually used in the past that helped, is when we get to the nitty gritty in price, and I feel like it's kind of like super high, I show the comparables, all the comparables. You ever did the three up comparison on MLS? I do the three up comparison, and I show a potential. Of course, we don't know the balance, what was owed on those mortgages, but I put a net sheet based on 6%, right? So I put a net, net sheet there, and then I put the ones on the market that's sitting on the market for a long time, and I put those three comparison, and I put NA. They don't, I mean, because you're really not gonna net, but I just show that. So I asked them. I said, listen, here's the story. Here's the story. Here's the story. You got reality and you got dreamer. Which side do you want to be in? So as you can see here, this person was able to get 99% sell price list price ratio, or even 100%, and the days on the market was less, and this is their net. Where these properties that are sitting top shelf, do you think they're going to be at the same net? I use that as a projection just to see which way you want to be. You want to be a dream, or in the reality, or you want to be the dream? Because I know your money is important, right? And I ask them one thing that I say this a lot, and they look at me crazy as a seller. I said, listen, Mr. Ronier, before you so you want to, let me make it clear, you want to be in the dreamer section. My question to you is that, can you afford it?
What do you mean?
You see, time equals money. Do you agree?
Yes.
So you're going to lose, and mind you, you have a great home and you want to get 100% for what it's worth today in today's market, and you do not want to be selling 5% off of what you could get today. You want to get 100% what it's worth. So you got to be in the reality stage, the reality category. So my question to you is, can you afford it? Because this is your equity. I'm going to sell it. This is your equity. This
Like
is your
that?
equity.
I like
Can you afford it? Because buyer, you're thinking, okay, well, a buyer, will afford it, but a seller, when you say, can you afford it? It's kind of like, what do you mean if I can afford it? This is my house. No, 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 no. Can you take the risk of being on the market, being exposed? I already told you, and I also not only show the actives, but I also show the dreamers closed sales that stopped showed at a high price, and I put a sell price risk price ratio. They come at 95, 96, and you got the reality that 99%. So I asked them, I said, which way you want to be? I'm confused. I mean, I want to get you here, but it starts with a partnership. We got to reach price. We got to get you to the price to get you that 99, 100% for what it's worth. So can you afford that? That's the main thing. I say that, they always say, like, what do you mean I can afford it? Can you afford it?
it. And then you, yeah. So that's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Question back
I
here.
don't know if I answered that.
Well, I like the idea that he in the MLS he's showing like cash. We did one example last month, remember?
Yeah.
And like the difference between 750 listed
Yeah.
and 700 closed after cost was like 36,000, and it was all cash to them. Do you want 600? Are we gonna? Is it really about the 600 in your pocket to 630? Really? We're gonna sit for 3 4 months for 30? Like really? Can we afford it? And then all the other things I'm sure you say. House sits empty. You move to California. Yada yada. The air conditioning. You got a hot water that leaks. The house isn't being used. Right? A house is like a baby. It always needs something. It needs to be used, or it starts crapping out. All
Yeah.
right, that was good.
And I,
Any
and
other
I
questions?
always say, and I always say to this thing is that the moment that you get on the market, the time ticks. And the moment you get on the market, you're putting your position, your mindset in position is to exit out the house with the less operating expense and the most cash to your pocket today. Okay, that means the mortgage. That means if it's sitting, if it's no rental, especially those vacant properties. Oh boy, I love those, man. I straight through the gut. I love that stuff. I say, so you saying, telling me, what is your mortgage, by the way? They said, oh, my mortgage is. I said, okay. So you're complete. You were talking about this price, but it's carrying to carry this property for the next 4 months if you're in the market. Now, not just talking about what you can get today, but you're sitting no income for the next 6 months at this price. So you're saying, let's say if it's 3,000, 6 months, that's $18,000. Can you afford that? 18,000. I mean, yes, you're paying your mortgage, and you're paying the taxes, you're paying the insurance. Yes, you pay your payoff goes down, but is it really necessary? Time is money, so let's try to get you to where you need to be.
Okay.
Like what? Like what?
Okay, so it's not necessarily a question. What do they ever come to you and say something that stumps you and and it knocks you off your presentation?
No, no. I'm not trying to stop. It's just I'll try to answer the best of my ability, but what I always try to do is if there's a question that comes up that's left, I think I know where you're going. If there's a question that comes up and arises left field, I grab it, I catch it, and I said, "Oh wow, I'm glad you answered. I'm glad you mentioned that." But I'll be happy to answer that towards the end. Let's continue with the presentation.
Okay, that
Because what
gets
you
you going.
so what you do is you stay control. You can stay control of the presentation, and then now you strategize in the back of your head on what am I going to do to go back. But don't even bring it up. If you really if you're not sure, don't bring it up. Just like try to close, right? Right? But if it's something like what the hell, then you're gonna have to do what you gotta do.
Anybody over here? Anything else?
Nah, I mean, look, guys, all my way, Mikey's, all these people, Ramona, all you guys are great. It's really it's not. I come here to just inspire to show my way. My way might not work for everyone, but one of the things I could say is that we all have one thing in mind, and is to be successful in this business. And it just takes energy, consistency, follow up, and just being in front of people. And just don't take no for an answer. That's it. Just like try to keep your ego away from the situation. Learn that it is a chess game. Even when you have a seller that signs with you, they're still playing chess with you. When in the contract you're trying to negotiate, they're playing chess with you. They're not showing you their real cards and what they would take for it. And it's just you have to take this game from an A to Z, and you can't shortcut it. And I learned that very well. You know, in my beginning, I tried to shortcut certain things, and I realized that, hold on, if you are trying to set a brand for yourself and you're trying to try to do something just overall consistently, right? You got to be able to not take shortcuts, because if you take a shortcut, it's going to lead into probably a failed result. So you got to be able to take it A to Z, qualify, qualify, qualify. That's what I learned from this guy. Qualify, 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 qualify.
Negotiate, negotiate,
Because
negotiate.
you got to qualify the whole situation. Always think about their motivation as a seller. Even when you get it signed, always remind them why they're selling. Because I think that has days on the market comes, especially in this marketplace, they're thinking like not discouraged, but they're hearing a lot of BS on the news. The market's soft. The market is down. So they're hearing all this, and also they have the input of their neighbors. The neighbors, they have their inputs of their friends. The friends are saying this. The friends are saying that. So you've got to be in control of your seller. I do a lot of weekly follow-ups for my listings. I put them on list track. I set I set a weekly way I do with my weekly updates is just simply the same way I pick up my phone. I text them with weekly updates. Say, hey, listen, this is how many shows we've had. This is how much feedback we've had. This is what I would recommend. This is how. Please check your list track. Is there any questions you have for this week? I would be in touch with you for any development that comes arise.
So it's not just a statement. It's a confirmation. Do you have anything for me? Anything I got to follow up?
Because you're assuming that you're sending this thing and thinking that you did a good job, or not good job, but you're reassuring them. So when you ask them if you have any questions for me, that makes it you're giving them the opportunity to ask away, and then you can then go at that point and say, okay, I hear your concerns. This is where we are, and then would you be available? And when they say it, depending on the question, I said, great. Are you open to having a 5-minute conversation after 4? And then you have that conversation with them. So now communication is key when you're dealing with these listings. Handling them, you got to communicate more than you used to, especially in this market.
So let me ask you a question. Um, if you guys got questions, feel free. You got a property. Um, list track isn't working. We've had it on the market 4 months. Um, you tried to get the best price, you didn't. How do you come back at me for the price reduction?
Oh, so that's another thing too. I do a lot of my thing is I love price reductions and I do them on Mondays. Oh man,
Price reduction Monday,
I love it.
tactical Tuesday.
So I do more data. Um, one thing that I do that I like is that I take a screenshot of a spreadsheet of all the inventory on top shelf. So from a weekly basis, I show them all the homes that did a price reduction. And I say, listen, I just want to remind you something I should bring to your attention. There is a 4 bedroom, 3 bath home. I mean, 3 bedroom home, 3 pool home. Okay. And yours is a 3-2. They're about $20,000 above your price. And guess what? I feel based on days on the market, how long they've been there, there's a really strong likelihood they will be at your price point. And what does that lead to? Buyer's perception that your property is overpriced. So we need to adjust it accordingly so we can get this sold before this goes down. Do you agree?
Nice.
That's it.
Oh, that's good.
That's
You
it.
you get you and then um so you're giving them the so are you giving them that like let's pretend we take it on the market today.
Yeah.
When do you think you're going to hit them with your first price reduction if you need it? 3 weeks, 2 weeks,
Oh,
a
I need
month,
10. I need 10 door. I need 10 people through the door.
10. Okay, so you've got to get 10 people in. If you don't get 10 people in, I need a price reduction.
And in not even 10 days, I look at it, okay, it's either one or the other. It's going to be either 10
Wait, hold
people.
on. In order to sell a home, right? Call it your number, 8 to 10. So he's saying 10 people through the door. You're supposed to have a contract.
But there's another other side. It's either going to be 10 days on the door, 10, 10. people through the door, or 2 weekends I ain't getting no showings.
There you go. So
Two
he's
weekends, if I'm not getting showings, if I'm not getting one, or I'm going right to the kill. I said, listen, your time is valuable. Remember the sell price risk price ratio we talked about. Remember, we talked about getting the most for this property. So now the more we're exposing the market, the less the price is for you. So let's get you that price. Let's adjust. Let's make this adjustment so we can get this moving. We can get more volume. We
nice.
can get more activity. We can get more.
So proactive. You know, do your job.
Right.
You do the photos. You do all the things. You do your boosting. Do everything you said
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
at the listing.
Yeah. And the
Do I
re
am
and the
getting
reason
showings or I'm not?
and the reason why you want to do the price reductions on Monday, because it's the same sequence or same timeline that you're giving your updates. So they expect every Monday to hear from you, right? So every Monday they're hearing from you, but you're gonna hit them with a surprise. The next weekend when you hit them with that price reduction, they're gonna be like, I wasn't expecting this. I said, yes, this is the part of transparency and honesty comes in.
There's a part of transparency and honesty. It is. But the thing is, it takes cojones
Yeah.
to be truthful and
Yeah,
honest.
you gotta be able to like call it for what it is. Don't I don't like to sugarcoat. You just get you know, and I think people respect you more for being straight to giving the facts versus trying to be like, oh, well, we fine. Like, listen, and I look at it, my time is like, look, my time as a listing agent, if I have to show it, if I have to respond to inquiries, if I have to do all that, that's taking time from me. So let me move this property. Um, and that's it. So I think it all depends on motivation for the
All right,
seller.
let me get another question. Go to closing. You go to closings?
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah.
List side or buy side, you go to closing.
List side by side.
Okay, so you go to your closing. You bring them a gift?
Yes,
Really? Okay.
yes,
What do you bring them?
yeah. Well, it depends on the personality,
Okay.
the person. Like, if there's sports, like any sports, if they're a baseball guy like Mikey, I give him a ball, like a Marlins ball, whatever the case is, get personal with them, you know
All
what I
right.
mean? And then, just show a gratitude. So on the closings, obviously seller never shows up. So if he's away, obviously I send something in the mail, Amazon. If it's something where he's here, when he shows up for seller rep pre-signing with home partners, whatever it is, I go, hey,
Nice job.
meet him there.
All right.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's a good question. So what I do is this, look, I'm happy to try. You can agree that we can agree that the market could play tricks. We won't know. But I want to make a clear understanding here, because you want to move here and you want to do this. There's a lot of things in place. And remember, there's a lot of things tied into the sale. We can try your price. I'm happy to help you get that price. And if we get it, great. Are you prepared to making an adjustment in 2 weeks if we're not getting an offer by then?
Okay.
And if he says no, then I go back to the motivation. I try to steer away from, because there's another reason why he's saying no, but it's because it's like it doesn't make sense. Like he wants to sell, but he wants here, he wants to try here. I said, okay. So let me get this right, Mr. Seller. If you say you want 750 and say in 30 days, let's not make it now. I change the script. Let's not say 2 weeks. Let's say 30 days.
Okay.
We don't get your price. We don't get no offers. We get no showing. Are you prepared to making a change, price reduction to go? And if they say no, I could say, well, then we have a problem. And I said, I would love to help you. You're a great person. I really want to help you. And I just shut up like this, like I really want to help you. And then let's find it. And there's sometimes where, there's times where I feel optimistic enough to take it, and there's sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't even want to waste my time. So if it's 50,000, I'm like, all right. But if you're talking about hundreds and like 100,000, 150,000, and it's also about the property. Mikey could say, because Mikey sells more than anybody here. Like, if a home is marketable, like it has location, you got to use your mindset. And you look at the inventory, you don't see as much competition, and you see it has all the pros that a lot of people see. It's like show ready. It's like, then you know what? Maybe you can try. But when you look at stuff, you want 750, but you got this dirty floors, and the grout is all dirty, and the floors look. I mean, your mindset, you're thinking of, you're like, you're thinking already, like, because you already know the comps. So it all depends. That's a good question. It all depends on my level of comfort or where I'm at. I don't want to say that I've walked away from listings, respectively. But in this market, you just have to assess the where you are, and yeah.
I like the question, which I never thought about, the follow up in 30 days after I do my job, after we do the boost, we have the open house, we get all the information back in at that point. 30 days out after doing everything, I mean, you would be open to a
And
price reduction.
and then if they say no,
If they say no,
if they say no, so how
how
about
are you going
this?
to get there?
How about this? Can we reevaluate that in 30 days? If I'm able to show you the data and show you what I've done and
Okay,
everything at that point,
I'd have
can
to say yes.
can we revisit this in 30 days?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's all,
Well, what he's talking about, because earlier we said the 2 weekends, 10 days, that type of
it
thing.
all depends on what marketplace you're in. If you're in a condo market, you need that price reduction right away. If you over here in Weston and Pines, where all you guys are selling at, where some inventory is lower than most neighborhoods, more pocket neighborhoods that have better schools, desirable schools.
It's all about the schools of Weston.
Hey, if you got to assess the situation, you got to see your comfort level. If you see, okay, ticket items, brand new roof, okay, great. You got the selling points that, because usually, here in Weston, you got, and also Pembroke Pines, you always got those older roofs, and a lot of people don't have the newer roofs. So you want to,
talk about the schools. I'll
yeah.
talk about your roof.
So let me figure out what is really the selling point. Sometimes you're just gonna be like, okay, but the way you did this now is you program in the seller's mind. Instead of taking a listing right off the top, you say, listen, because most agents like would say, okay, okay, sign. They didn't have that conversation. So we're having that conversation. So let me ask you this. We already know I'm the right fit. You already agreed. It seems like you already agreed to hire me as your agent. Now we have to determine price. And now I see you at this price. I'm right here.
Right.
Well, we can evaluate
It's
that in
already
the next
signed.
30 days.
Wait, I already signed it.
Yeah.
And now we're talking price.
In the next 30 days, we can revisit this and I can bring back all the data. You would reconsider this, would you?
And the answer is going to be yes. I want to say yes.
Yeah.
You programmed it, and as each day, as you're doing everything else, each day at night, they're talking to each other. They're talking to everybody, and they're anxious.
Yep.
As much as you think of their house and selling their house and doing your job for them, 100 times over.
Yep.
Comcast, all the things I got to do. The dog. I got to find a new doctor. Like they're moving in their mind, and they're waiting on you. They're thinking of it 1,000 times. That's why you have to have the contact. That's why you got to send a question on Monday. Hey, here's what's happened. Do you have any questions for me? Those type of things.
So you get the listing. Hey, listen, every Monday around the afternoon, around 3 to 5, you're going to hear from me, okay? Whether text, emails, or phone call. If it's important, obviously, we get an offer or if there's something like that, I'll be in contact with you right away. But if there's So just keep in mind during that time, what is your best method? Is it phone, text, phone? What is
Yeah,
it
I
for you?
like to.
All right, you
I
like
like
text?
that.
All right, I'm gonna text you. Right, so from 3 to 5, expect a text. What you're doing now is programming that. First of all, don't be calling me, texting me every minute what's going on with my property. Okay? I'm here trying to, and they say, hey, listen, look, I'm making calls, trying to cold call the neighborhood, seeing if there's someone looking to sell. I have to look for this buyer. I'm not just waiting for the buyer, but I'm looking for the buyer. I'm looking, chasing,
Not
trying to
just
find the
two
right
hours
buyer.
in the morning.
So that's where when I'm prospecting, I'm really not prospecting the buyers, I'm prospecting sellers, but they don't need to know that. I'm actually setting the time management because I think what we are some what when I first started, I was afraid to set expectations from the beginning. So I tell them Monday you're gonna hear from me. If there's any development that you need to hear, you're gonna hear right away, like offers, whatever the case is. But just please believe Monday through 3 to 5, you're gonna hear from me one way or the other, and that's it, straight up, right there, 3 to 5, they hear from me, and that way they can feel comfortable that they can expect Monday. So Monday when I come with that, I say, listen, look, I when I have these conversations, you never have price reduction conversations via email or text. It gets conveyed completely. They take an emotional. They read your message, not reply. They do all that stuff. So what you do is you send the data, you send the market updates to their email list track. Then you have that phone conversation. Hey, did you have a chance of reading my email? Yeah. All right. All right. Well, if you didn't have the chance, take a look when you can. I like to speak with you of a strategy we can do to get you sold.
Guys, thank you, Dee.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, your devotion to the business,
Yeah.
and your transparency with us,
Yeah.
your clients, and it shows in your business and your business stats. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. He's here for a minute if you want to mingle.
Uh,